Alright, hi, my name's Jacqueline Emerton, and my job today is to talk to you about the 6 learning spaces and specifically about the strengths and challenges of each of these learning spaces for students and teachers. So, first off, just to make sure that everyone does have a clear understanding of what the learning spaces are, we're just going to watch a quick video. Okay, so those are the 6 learning spaces. What we're going to do now is talk about the strengths and challenges of each of these learning spaces for teachers to start off with. So for the personal learning space, which is really about building up students' confidence, some benefits that you'll find are that once students have a great sense of self-efficacy, they'll have an even greater sense of ownership over their work, which will result in more self-direction. And this means that they'll be willing to take risks and make mistakes, and there'll be this huge amount of motivation in your classroom. Some challenges are that you need to have a very clear understanding of each and every student in your classroom, and specifically what affects their confidence, what motivates them, and what their capabilities are. The next learning space, which is the classroom and school, which is really focused on the physical space, some benefits to teachers will be that if you give children a say in their classroom and school and how it's designed, there'll be this huge amount of motivation, ownership, and this newfound respect. And if you really do match it to the needs of the students, you can tell that you are now doing the education of the whole person. Some challenges that you have is that you won't meet every want of the child, but when you design these spaces, it's about meeting the needs of children. And it can be quite difficult to view these environments from a child's point of view, from your student's point of view. The next learning space beyond the classroom, which is incursion excursions, these really do promote individual cognitive growth, and it brings the outside world to your students, which means they're just engaged on a whole new level, and it's just such a unique learning opportunity. Some challenges are that you need to be really prepared for anything and everything, and look, it does take a team, so don't be afraid to ask for help when you are planning excursions and incursions. Group collaborative and cooperative learning space, these provide equal opportunity for success while still having individual accountability, and students really are just so engaged in their learning when they each get to take on a teacher-student role. Challenges though will include, greater chance of distractions. It becomes hard to ensure authentic learning is occurring and that everyone is participating equally. But you really are just going to have those tricks up your sleeves for those ones. The liminal learning space, when students and teachers become comfortable in this space, they become more comfortable with not understanding and making mistakes, and you really do get a greater understanding of your learning journey because you can start labeling, when you're in the liminal space or when you're in the aha moment. Some challenges are that, look, it is uncomfortable to be in this space, and teachers and students do go in this space. And it can be really hard to identify the space as well as explain it to students. And finally, the E-space, look, benefit to teachers, it really does enhance your learning. It's such a helpful tool in the classroom. It can prepare your students for the future, and it can be a tutor, it can be used to explore, it can just be a helpful tool, or you can use it to communicate. Some challenges are that really it should be used as a tool to assist learning and not a requirement of learning. You should be using it in conjunction, which can be quite hard to do. So those are the strengths and challenges for teachers. Now we're going to look at the strengths and challenges for students. So for the personal learning space, students really do get a sense of confidence in their own capabilities, which means they become more involved in their learning. And they develop this ability to recognize and make connections in their learning. Challenges for students, though, is that if they already have a low confidence or low self efficacy, it is really hard to change that. And sometimes you'll get students that just don't have the skill to recognize their own abilities, which can be really hard to teach. For the classroom and school, if they've had a space that they've helped create, they really do think, how cool is this? I got to express my own ideas. I own this space. They have this new sense of ownership over it. Some challenges are you'll get students that feel like they weren't heard because they didn't get what they want, which I'm going to reiterate again. When you're designing the classroom in the school, it is about meeting the needs of your students and not the wants of them. For the beyond the classroom, look, incursion excursions, they're fun, they're new and exciting, they're so engaging, and it creates this connection to the community. The challenges, if students don't know the expectations, they are going to feel the need to show off. So really make sure you set those expectations. For group collaborative and cooperative work, students get to learn from each other, they get to teach each other. There's more one-to-one assistance in their work, so they don't just rely on you for help. And they get this amazing chance to hear each other's ideas. Some challenges are you will get students that, look, they don't want to work with others because it can be really distracting, but it really is just such an amazing learning experience for them. The liminal space for students, if they know this space and understand what this space is, they do become comfortable with their mistakes and they do want to take risks and try new things, and they have this sense of confidence in their learning path. And they even tend to help others in this space. They can start pinpointing when other students are stuck in the liminal learning space. Some challenges, like I said, it is really uncomfortable. So you do tend to get this reaction of freeze or run. So you get stuck, you don't know what to do, or you just completely run away from it and go, you know what, I'm not going to learn that. And students do often do that. And it can be quite a hard space to identify. Finally, for the E-space, look, it's engaging, it provides them with real-world skills, it's so helpful to them, and they really do have the world at their fingertips. Challenges though, students need to know about e-safety, and they might become too reliant on technology or the e-space might start taking control, so it really is about setting those boundaries. Okay, so that's the strengths and challenges of each learning space for students and teachers. For approaches, strategies, and resources, look, if we're going to change these learning spaces and really create them for our students, we need to have help. We need to have resources. So I've created an ebook just filled with a whole bunch of approaches, strategies, and resources for each of the learning areas for you to go through. And you can utilize any of these. You might want to adapt them, you might want to expand them, but the options are there. And I will just make the note that there are so many things out there. So just start looking, and I really hope that we create these learning spaces that just transform our students' learnings. Thank you very much.